Hello, hello, hello! Orange Garcia here from the OLPMC community. Welcome back to Fruitful Fridays here at OLPMC. If you're new today and you've just joined us, we've covered a lot of ground regarding vitamin character. What is character? Character is the courage to do the right things at all times, no matter what the cost. So it's very important that whatever you're facing, you got to be able to call on the courage within so that you may be able to decide and always move forward to do the right things at all times, no matter what the cost. But for today's episode, and it's the last installment for our episode, Vitamin Character, we're going to talk about no matter where we are, we choose to keep moving with our best foot forward. All right. But before we do anything, I want to ask the beautiful ladies who've joined us today to just say hi and greet our audiences.
Hi guys!
Hi! Welcome back! Hi!
So for the last episode of the Vitamin Character, we have two special guests with us. One is making a comeback. She's guesting with us for the second time, and we want to appreciate her for that. But first, I'm going to introduce to you a very special person to the OLPMC community. Teacher Tess Abode have been with us for so many years. She's been working with our mom, the founder, for quite some time, and she has a very special place in our family's heart. Hi, Teacher Tess.
Hi! Good afternoon. Oh no, good morning. I'm sorry, it's good morning. They call me Teacher Tess in OLPMC or Ginang Abode as Filipino teacher. I've been in OLPMC for more than 3 decades and I've been teaching Filipino, isang maluwalhating Filipino, isang gurong magaling sa Filipino. And then after, I think 10 years, I became a moderator and academic coordinator in Filipino. And luckily, I was appointed as a school head 3 years ago. And now I've been working with Teacher Kathy in the middle school as one of the school heads.
Can I share that Teacher Tess was my Filipino teacher in high school, and she was awesome. She was the best. She would make you love the Filipino subject even if you didn't like it too much. Our next guest is Teacher Ellen Lazaro. You've met Teacher Ellen before from our Vitamin Competence series. Welcome back, Teacher Ellen.
Hi everyone, good morning or good afternoon to all of you. I'm Teacher Ellen Lazaro, one of the school heads in the high school. I've been in the OLPMC for more than a decade. If Teacher Tess is 3 decades, 1/3 of that, okay? And looking forward to meeting you all again. Thank you.
Kung gusto nyong hindi magmukha your age or how long you've been working, join us.
Yep, you'll never age in the OLPMC community. You will always be baby face like us. So yeah, another trivia for you guys. This tandem here, Teacher Tess and Teacher Ellen, helped us rebuild the OLPMC community. Because when I came back from my sabbatical leave, I call it sabbatical, but there was a time that I quit OLPMC. All right, I will confess to that. But when I came back, I asked for a strong leadership team. So Miss Apps, my sister, joined as the chief operations officer. That really gave me courage, to keep moving forward. But I needed more strong leaders from the academic team, and Teacher Tess just answered the call of duty there, along with Teacher Ellen. So Teacher Tess for 3 school years, from 2016 to 2019, she was the principal leading the way for the rebuilding of the OLPMC community, alongside by side with Teacher Ellen, who also answered the call of duty. It was a tall order, guys, and I was a very, very demanding leader. Okay, medyo bumait na ako ng konti, or maybe because that's the reason I got fired again from the OLPMC. Well, I fired myself to give way to a better and stronger leadership. And I can't be prouder than these two individuals, teacher Tess and Ellen. So today, again, vitamin character. What's our point to ponder? Our point to ponder is this. It does not matter how small or slow you start. What matters most is that you finish, and you finish strong. Okay? People think that when they make a mistake, it's failure. No, it's not. A mistake only becomes a failure when you quit learning from it, when you quit growing from it, when you stop at your mistake and just give up. And that's what failure is. But a person of character chooses to always rise above, to get back up. Even if they fall 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, they will choose to get back up and keep moving with their best foot forward. That's what we're going to talk about today. Here's my first question to you guys. What was the greatest challenge that turned out to be the greatest opportunity in your lives?
I think the greatest challenge in my life was leaving OLPMC. That was a choice I had to make at a point in my life when I became married. My husband then moved to Cebu. Coincidentally, there was an opening at an international school in Cebu. And so I applied for the job. You know, I've shared before in our first episode, I was groomed to take over OLPMC, but, you know, life happened for me, and so I had to change plans. Fortunately, when I turned in my resume, the principal flew to Manila and then made interviews with other applicants. And right then and there, he offered me the job. My orientation and my training was all Montessori. For 10 years, I worked in OLPMC, and that's all the way of teaching that pretty much I knew. And so when I moved to this international school, they had used the American curriculum. And so I had to learn everything. My worst teaching moment was I didn't realize that I didn't have classroom management, because I was dealing with first graders. They were all from diverse families, so they were very, you know, culturally rich. So that was the greatest challenge. Apart from that, I had to adjust my lifestyle living in Cebu, not knowing Cebuano, and then having to find help at home. And so that was, you know, the greatest struggle, trying to manage my home life and then my career life at the same time. After 10 years of teaching, you wouldn't believe, I would go home and cry because I was exhausted at the end of the day. I was emotionally drained and I was mentally strained. After teaching for 3 years in this international school, I think I grew tremendously professionally. And little did I know that God was already planning for my departure to the U.S. It was kind of a training ground. Again, you know, everything that I was doing at that time was in preparation for my future.
I totally agree with that in every problem, there is a seed of opportunity within. And if you allow it to grow, life would be able to give you a more fertile ground to grow in. I love what you said because it's giving way to my next concern, which is how are we preparing our next generation, right, to embrace failure, because that is a life skill. If you look at the captains of industries right now, like Steve Jobs, the likes of Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, they all share that tenacity. It's called tenacity, right? That amidst unsurmountable circumstances, they still chose to be able to embrace their failures and to move forward. That's probably my question in mind right now. How are we going to equip our children, our students, our captains to be the future captains of industries as well?
I want to say we want to make sure we give the idea of growth mindset. And I see that both in my own kids. And I've always told Alessio, who has had difficulty since childhood about learning. He's been in special education all his school life, and right now he's doing college work. It never made him stop. He's always challenged himself because he has that growth mindset. So I'm very proud of him. Alonzo, on the other hand, he's so intelligent. He's actually a smart ass that he has a fixed mindset. I always talk to him about it. I'm like, it's okay to fail sometimes. It's okay not to meet some expectations, but he can't take it. He gets frustrated when the task gets too easy. And so he's the greatest procrastinator, unfortunately. And I want to be, given more opportunities to teach him to learn better, having a growth mindset.
It's like the saying, you are where you need to be, because wherever you are in your life, you're really being prepared for the next journey. And it's never going to be the same. We think about our lives, like we want change. I'm not happy with this. But really, if we were just taught how to really pay attention and become more aware of what's happening in our lives. For some reason, sometimes when you just learn the lesson, then the next thing happens. It just prepares you for the next journey. So.
To be honest, when, my brother Orange and I talked about this transition in leadership in school, this was one of the drivers for me to say yes, is to be able to make a difference in our children's lives. I love the mission of being able to build a nation of nation builders, one child, one community, one city at a time. As a health coach, yes, I do want to make a difference in people's lives and, making them feel healthy in mind and body. But the school is a whole different thing. I mean, you could impact a life of a child tremendously if you really do the right things and instilling the right beliefs, just simply making them feel confident about themselves and helping them know what they're good at, what their strengths are, because I don't think we grow up this way, right? I wish I could have learned it earlier, how to discover myself, how to discover my inner self. Because after school, I just kind of had to figure it out on my own. But imagine the difference that we could make if we start teaching that with our kids, so that after school, when they go out in the real world, they're more equipped. They have a shield and a sword to fight this and to go with this. As a school, it's very hard to teach this, to embrace failure. If you keep giving quizzes, tests, exams, and you count the correct answers versus the mistakes, it's very hard to teach them to embrace failure, right? But as a school, I love that how we're building that culture. It started with Sir Orange. I'm just trying to continue that. And I just love how we're able to impact that.
I would like to add to what Miss Cherry and Miss Peachy mentioned a while ago about your past experiences. I'll be quoting from Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. As a brief background, I'm not really an education major. I've been prepared and honed to take med school. For 4 years, I've been in the pre-med, but unfortunately, due to some circumstances, I wasn't able to really go to med school. So I really have to find a way and means to survive. Actually, I grew up in a environment wherein I really need to find ways and means to survive. Okay, so failure is not in the equation. But God is really that amazing, because He led me to take units in education. Okay, and it opened an idea that I think I have this with me since the beginning, to really look into to a child. Ano ba yung pwede mong maitulong bilang isang adult to a child. So I took the 24 years of education units, and then also I took up the LET. Fortunately, I passed. And the first 3 years was really a big leap on my part. It came to a point that, is this really my path? Is this really what I'm wanting in life? And the story goes on that I came to the grounds of OLPMC. There I met Sir Orange, and the story goes on and on. So what I've been learning for the past 16 years is that we all made mistakes. We are humans. What we do about it is the next question, the big question. Yes, I am work in progress still.
Yeah, there's a quote on that. Failure is part of success.
All right, we've been learning so much. I've been learning so much. If you're still with us, thank you very much. I still have one more question, and I want to throw it to the group right now. And maybe it could be personal in one way or another. Let me ask you this. Is there any fears that you're facing right now? Are you in a situation that's really requiring you to call on the courage that is within you so that you may be able to keep moving forward, keep moving with your best foot forward?
Right now, my fear that I'm facing is the new normal setup of education, version 3.0. Why version 3.0? Because this year, the online class is my version of 2.0. So I have now my 3.0, which is my greatest fear for next school year. Because we might have blended learning or a hybrid learning, which is a combination of a face-to-face instructions with online learning. So my fear now is, how can we adjust as a school in terms of uh, making our new programs. That includes our curriculum. One of my fear also is the adjustment of our people, most especially the adjustment of our parents and the center of the OLPMC, which is our captains. To answer the call of courage, I always say myself the word why. I keep on asking, why do I need to change? Why do I need to progress? So the letter W, the H and the Y, that's my courage to, to do good. Doon sa mga, when we ask for details, right? I'm a Filipino teacher, so we always ask the shortest way of asking details, like the what, the when, the who, but we seldom ask the why, right? So if we keep on asking, why are we going to change? Why do we need to change? Why do we adapt these changes of the new normal online education? And I keep on asking myself and telling myself, hey, Tess, it's normal to have fears. Overcoming my fears, I always ask or always read this Bible verse that says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with righteous hand, for I am the Lord, our God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, Tess. Do not fear, OLPMC. I will help you grow. I will help you overcome your challenge.
I agree with what Teacher Tess said, because my belief has always been clarity breeds confidence. So the more clear you are and how you become clear is you keep on asking why until you get to the answer. You're gonna feel more confident with whatever is ahead of you, right? So yeah, clarity breeds confidence, man.
Yeah, and I understand her fears too, because thinking about the students this year who haven't really experienced classroom learning, are they really going to be prepared for next level challenges? Are we really able to prepare them? But if you really think about it, because we were programmed to have our day set, our schedule, and stuff like that. But really, when you get up in the morning, get out of the door, you don't know what's going to happen the next second, right? And we forget that that's how it is every second of our life. And I think one of the things that we can reassure our parents is that we're in this together. We're not the only school that's going through this change. The whole world is, and this is the best time to collaborate, to bring our minds together and really cooperate. And how can we make this change happen? And I love what Teacher Ellen said in the middle of her story when she asked the question, what can you do about this? It's a very powerful question, and we use that a lot in coaching because that's what life is, in every moment there's a decision to make. Ask that question, okay, this is not working. What can we do about it? Just like what Teacher Ellen said, okay, tweak here, tweak that, and that's it. Next thing you know, the school year is over, right? And it's going to be one of those parts of your life, like right now, just look back into your past life, like how strong you were in all the changes that you went through. And it's going to be the same thing, after the school year of in 2022, you're just going to look back at 2021. Oh my gosh, the hybrid worked. We made it happen. You know what I mean? So
you know what? I love what you guys are sharing. I'm learning a lot. What really kind of tugged my heart there was when Teacher Tess, instead of asking how, you ask why. You always go back to your purpose. Apps mentioned it. It's clarity. It's really that, when you're faced with fear, you have to go and ask yourselves why are you doing this? Because I'm facing fear to the face right now, because I honestly, when I stepped aside from the OLPMC community, I really didn't know what to do next. I had an idea, I had this vision, I had this yearning to be able to do it, but I had to start from the ground up, that I'm just all alone again and I'm trying to figure things out. Because in my mind, I wanted to build this new organization whose mission is still there, to build a nation of nation builders, one child, one community, one city at a time. I dream of this real estate development company that will be known to build schools, right? It's not going to be known to build resorts or malls or houses. It's going to be known how to build schools, world-class facilities that will be offered to working class people, right? And that's really the dream. And when I ask myself, how would I do this? I don't even know how to construct anything. I don't even know how to be able to saw wood or put on a tile, get into construction. If I always ask myself how, then that fear was just gonna become stronger and bigger. It's just gonna stop me. So that's why I have to ask myself why. You have to ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? I'm going back to zero, where I know nothing, and I'm just starting building. And that's what Ate Cherry said, right? You look back a few years from now, right, and you say, hey, it worked. And that's my prayer, that if I keep moving forward, if I keep moving with my best foot forward, summoning the call of courage to do the right things at all times, no matter what the cost, being true to my purpose, being true to my calling, being true to my mission, you're gonna look back and say, wow, what an amazing ride that was. Okay, and this is an amazing ride. I hope you guys enjoyed this ride with me. But before we close the show, I just want to open the floor to anybody in this room with me right now to just share your last piece nugget of wisdom. Whoever wants to share anything to our audiences before we let them go.
I just want to say, with every experience that you're going to go through, it's important that you realize that you learn more from failure than from success. You don't
let it stop you, because failure builds your character. We've all been through that. You know, businesses failed, careers failed, a lesson plan. I've gone through those many, many days and went home and said, well, that was a fail. Epic. Totally. But then, you know, the next morning is a new day again. And so you have another chance. Every time the sun comes up, you know there's going to be a brighter, newer opportunity for you. So keep trucking. You got this. Yeah, and in life, there's always going to be those blocks, right? There's always going to be challenges. I remember, just a quick story, I remember when I was attending the John Maxwell team certification, he was talking about, I think it was failing forward, the difference between, someone who's not learning from their mistakes and someone who's growing and, changing how the direction of their life is. I remember, he was telling us a story, the difference between someone who just keeps going and not learning from their mistakes and versus someone who's learning from their mistakes. It's like, as we all go through life and walk on our path, there are potholes we can stumble on. And when we fall, some people just keep walking. But the most important thing is time to just pause and turn your back around and say, what happened? What made me fall? And that's what people are missing sometimes. It's that thinking moment, that reflection moment. It's like to ask yourself, what happened? How can I avoid that? Versus someone who just like keeps going and then there goes the pothole again and he's gonna do the same thing. For me, just acknowledging, also knowing that for every problem there's always going to be a solution, and there's God. How can you face fear? The supreme being has got your back. There's always going to be solution for everything, and to just make things fall into play. So, the ultimate question now I give to my students and to my own sons when they make a mistake or they've experienced failure is, what lesson did we learn from this one?
I could speak for the whole community, not just myself, but we are scared the hell out of this pandemic. We are scared. We are fearful of what's going to happen. All we could do is really get in there every single day and try the best that we can. Yesterday we had a meeting with the school heads where we went through our survey results. And it was very challenging for us because we had two choices. One is to focus on the negative things and feel like a failure. That's very hard. Like, we are all so tired, pressured, stressed. We could choose to feel like a failure, when we focus on that survey, or we could focus on what we could do better, and just be grateful and thankful for our captains and our parents who gave us those feedback, because they cared enough to give that feedback. I love that because Tina was the one who reminded us to that last night. Tina, our operations head. So yeah, I think that's where character really comes in. You have to choose on what you want to focus on, because you are going to fail 100 times, many times, but it's really all about how many times you get back up.
Character and courage are very important words in our lives that we need to put in our equation. Another two C's, we have to choose. It's our decision, okay? And another big C is Christ in us, because we all been saying that God will back us up. It's a choice for character and courage, and we have the big C, which is who is Christ in our lives.
So my message for the new generation, for the children of today and for children of tomorrow is this: nasa pagtatangka ang kaganapan ng bawat butil ng pangarap. That means we have to keep trying. We have to keep moving. We have to try things that will be your way to reach your goal. Always say, I can, like the song, I can live, I can love, I can reach to heavens above, I can right what is wrong, I can sing just any song. That's it. Thank you.
There you guys have it. It's a complete show, and we just ended our vitamin character series. I hope you guys learned a lot from us today. I learned a lot from these wonderful ladies in the room right now, and we pray that you will always have the courage to do the right things at all times, no matter what the costs. Wherever you are, whether you're alone, whether you're at work or play, you're with somebody, you're with 1,000 people, or you're with just 10 people, whether you're in good times or bad times, that your character may stay intact. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next series coming up next Friday. I love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. See you next Friday.
Bye.